Hey, what's up? John from Dowie Farm. I'm here doing some harvest. I had a question asked about packaging and shelf life and stuff like that. So I'm just going to kind of walk you guys through my entire process for harvest, washing, drying, and packaging, and how we store things. But real quick here on some sunflower, this will be just kind of a general video. But let me show you this here. I got it on the tripod, so I got to drop this down so you can see a level shot here. All right. It's about the same height. Here's my sunflowers that are ready. They're starting to get a very small sign of a double leaf, and we are at, whoop, come on now. We are at almost 6 inches height, okay? Now, I pulled these out of germination probably at 6 inches height. So, I mean, or I'm sorry, at 5 inches height. So, we're not really looking at too much of a difference here from start to finish. And, yeah. Anyway, real quick, I apologize for any audio issues. I'm using my other camera because I'm having problems with my Galaxy, which is part of the reason I haven't been doing any videos. But I'm going to have that fixed by the weekend here, and I have a mic for that. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me. Anyway, so I've got my sunflowers here ready to roll, and I've kind of got this new gadget I'm trying out too. I saw a guy on YouTube doing this deal with this thing, this little hedge trimmer, and it seems to kind of work pretty well. If you start at the bottom, I don't have like this bin that he used, all right, but I have a clean counter, and that's pretty interesting. Like, I haven't used this on sunflower yet till today. I used it on buckwheat the other day, and then I just went through and did this. And the one thing I noticed is the way you're doing this, obviously you get a lot of these seed hulls that have fallen as they've been growing, all right? And obviously watch your hand. But we're going to find out, you know, if we get poor shelf life out of the stems turning brown with this system. I mean, I'm assuming this is pinching them, all right, for obvious reasons, because that's what it does to cut, is pinch. So, you know, who knows what that's going to do. I mean, any good chef will tell you. I mean, I can tell just by looking at these that they're pinched. You know what I mean? See what if you can see. Let me stand here. See how they're like kind of jagged at the end? See if I can get that to focus on that. I can't really, but you can kind of see it, how it's more jagged, and it's definitely pinched. So my prediction here is that's going to brown quicker than it would if I had just cut it with the chef knife. I did get a nice clean cut, which, you know, if it works, that'll be great. And it's real easy. You know, it was real easy. Obviously, you saw it. It took seconds. Now, it's not a huge time saver because, you know, cutting sunflower with a knife isn't really that hard. You know, but who knows? It's a little less aggravation, I suppose. Let me just get my container here. And I'm going to wash these, so let me balance out, zero out my scale. The other guy, the guy that I saw this doing on YouTube was, he used a big bin and a cinder block and whatnot. You can find it. Maybe I'll add him in my show notes here. But, you know, whatever. I just wanted to give it a shot for 25 bucks or 35 bucks or whatever it was. It's worth a go. I mean, who knows? If it doesn't work out, I guess maybe I'll grow some tiny little shrubs I can trim with it, right? So, here we go. Pound 10 ounces out of that. That's okay. I've been getting mixed results with my sunflower lately. Now come on over here. I'm going to show you my wash process. I've got some water here in the sink, ready to go. I just poured that in. All right. Now, I'm going to grab my thermometer, because part of this, I think, is the temperature of your water, and part of your shelf life issues are getting your crop heat down as quick as you can. That's something that people in the world of row crops knows about crop heat, and that's when you harvest something like basil or a lettuce and it's 70, 80 degrees or whatever, and you got some time. You got to bring that down in time, or you got to get that crop heat off of the crop so that you don't lose shelf life. We're at 73.6 right now in the room, and then my Thermometer here is going to read down probably into the 50s, I would hope. 62, huh? A little warmer than I'd like it to be. I did purposely run some warm water into this because I don't want to, like, you know, freeze to death when I'm doing it. Because the water here in Manchester, New Hampshire, it comes out of the tap at like 52 degrees. All right, so now, obviously, it's sunflower, so we got to dehull these bad boys, right? And I go ahead and just, usually I just fire them right into the sink, okay? And then we got the stuff in here. I'm going to get it down in. I'm going to do one of these in my sink. Now, obviously, if you're using a bin or something, that works. I used to do this in a stainless steel metal mixing bowl, and I'd spin. And I used to say you have to have something round, right? But that's not really true. It was just my craziness kicking in. But you'll see here, when you spin it like that, a lot of these seeds come to the edges. So they're out of the way. And then you can kind of pick from the middle. And then you can de-seed the ones that you're going to de-seed, right? And some of them you're not going to de-seed. Like, this one looks okay, it's fine. So we will do that one. But we're going to come across some where the hull is stuck on there so hard that you're not going to get that off without really doing a number. And even if you do, it looks kind of shitty. That one actually went okay. But there are some like that. And, yeah, so I kind of give them a little downward motion like that. Okay. There's one more. There we go. Nice and clean. Piece of grass. And I kind of do that with them. And that knocks a lot of the ones that are loose off when I do that. I pull from the bottom. All right? And I do that with a lot of my greens when I wash, is pull from the bottom and pull down with a downward motion. And it leaves a lot of the seed holes at the top, especially in a brassica, something along those lines. The seed holes are just kind of, they're not on the plant, they're just kind of in there. And they're already loose, so you're pulling them out. And I don't know if I say that word right, but hey, that's how we're going to say it here. It's brassica, right? But these are just sunflowers. There's another one. See, it's not too bad to dehull sunflowers, I'm telling you. Like, everybody freaks out about this. If you grow it to the right height under the dome, okay, so I'm going, I'm probably going to 5 days, I think, total before I go to lights. And then, I know I've kind of covered that in the sunflower instructional. But, sorry, I can't do two things at once. But I've covered it in the sunflower instructional where I'm going 5 days total in the germination stage, and then I'm going to lights for no more than 2 days. And then I start to get the second leaf, but that means that your leaves have opened, and you're not going to have as many hulls. Because the reason the hulls stick, as you can see, is because the leaves don't open, and that's a huge pain in the ass. See, that one kind of sucks. That's alright. Sometimes you'll pull these off, there'll be a little brown under there. Like that one kind of has a little off color. And, we might not use that. But I'm getting a pretty good yield out of this, really, if you think about it. There we go. There's one, there's one. Sometimes if you run your hand across the top of this crop, it helps knock some of them off. That's usually the loose ones, though. That's part of the reason I do this water while I'm doing it, is because not only does it help separate the ones that are already coming off, but it'll, those ones that would have came off if you brushed your hand across it generally come off when you add it to the water. So, all right. Anyway, you get the gist here. I'm down to the end. I've got the fragments left, basically. I'm going to still get through these at some point, but I want to move on to the next step with you guys so it doesn't take forever. But I've got about, 3 ounces left in here, probably, I would say. Not some major amount. And this is actually where most of your seeds get in the way, is towards the end here, because there's just so many little chunks of seed in the way. You can skin the edges if you want to make it faster, probably. I'll probably do that next here. Bam. There we go. Great. And a lot of these are the little pieces, see? Anyway, if you skim your edges, you can get rid of a lot of stuff. See what I mean? You can get rid of that chunk of garbage that you don't want. If that gets that out of your way, it's a lot of hulls. They're totally in my way. I'm getting the good stuff. There we go. There we go. That's a good one. And if you throw one in there, obviously you can recover it. You just grab it. Oh, I shouldn't have thrown that in. There we go. Bam. bam. And at some point here, it becomes not worth it. That's up for you to decide. There's everything in this type of a microgreens endeavor. You have to weigh out the time that it's going to take you to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I get a lot of suggestions on stuff. Why don't you do things like this? And I'm like, well, because I don't have time for that. Like, I get nonstop suggestions on how to do my watering without buying pumps. And pumps are $20. Like, come on now. Like, I'm going to spend... People are like, why don't you pump the water to the top and then let it gravity feed down through? I'm like, why would I ever spend that kind of time when I can spend $20? You know, in the grand scheme of things, is nothing when you're doing the volume that you want to be doing. And you know, that's the thing here, is like, you're doing this kind of volume. At what point here does it become not worth picking through these? And that point is coming right up in a second. But you have to think about your time. Always. Always, always. Now, obviously, if you're in a weird spot where you're trying to squeeze everything you can out of these things because you have an order to meet or whatever, that is what it is. But like, I saw, you know, Curtis Stone harvesting, and he left a whole bunch of stuff on the tray. Now, I would cut that because it would take me 3 to 5 seconds to cut that. Now, I understand where he's coming from, because that dude is cutting 100 trays a day, and that 3 to 5 seconds adds up, you know, when you're doing that many trays. I'm not usually cutting 100 every day. I'm cutting about 250 a week, you know, to get what I do, because he does a lot of bulk. And I am not doing that bulk thing yet. I got my spinner. Here's the next step. Take my salad spinner out. Take a good amount of greens. All right. Now, this salad spinner is kind of my backup one because my other one broke. It's got this thing that juts down inside, so you can't really fill it any higher than there, or it'll screw it all up. Put it in the bowl. I give it couple spins, and I stop it, and then that gets the bulk of the water out. And then I go a little harder. And now this one spins the same direction. It doesn't reverse, so you can go fast. If you have one that reverses directions, and you do what I just did at that speed, it'll break every stem, and you don't want that. All right, so that's our our spinning step. And I have stuff in my way. Stuff in the way. And we got nice spun out greens here. Okay, see how they're all stuck to the sides? We're going to a thing. I use the cafeteria style trays with, let me tighten this up. Cafeteria style trays that I get from a restaurant supply store. They're like $2 or $3 a piece. And obviously they last forever. And then I just line these bad boys with a good paper towels. I buy the good ones, the Selecta size, because the cheap ones just are not worth it. Sorry. Let me move everything's one-handed. I probably should have been prepared, but I'm never prepared. All right, I got my box fan. There's my box fan. There's my greens. I'm gonna turn that bad boy on, high. Actually, I got them all on a power strip here, so I can turn them all off at once when I want to toss. Okay, so there's my fan running. Good stuff. It's starting to dry, and I'm going to set my timer for 6 minutes. And every 6 minutes, I'm going to toss those things, you know, like that, and they're going to dry out with about 2 or 3 bells. Pretty low humidity in here, so it's going to go fast. All right, cool. I'm going to pause. I'm going to come back when those are dry, or when it's time to toss. I'll come back, and then I will come back when it's time to package. Hear that bell? That's the bell. I hear it up here all day. Anyway, that's the bell. I have that thing set up to go at 5.5, so it gives me a little bit of time to toss the greens. So I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to come through, and I'm going to give these a flip, a little bit of a flip, and a toss. And I'm going to be feeling these for moisture. Now, these ones are, okay, sometimes I'll be like, that doesn't even need another bell, you know, and that's what we call it. That's our slang around here when we're harvesting. Like, I'll say to my coworkers and my partner, I'll be like, hey, one more bell on that, you know what I mean? So they know what that means. Here we go, we're going to give these a toss. Now, the one thing you want to be careful with some of these more hardy greens when you're tossing is not to do too much to break the stems. That goes for all of them, but you'll really notice it on these ones. And now we're back. I also have a 1-minute break built in, because as you can imagine, when we have a huge process going on here with all of our trays filled up, we get 8 on here at once, and then we have this here. We'll get 4 on there. You got 12 trays you got to toss, and some of it's harder to toss, like it's more delicate and whatnot, and it'll take some more time. So that's our process on the drying step. I'm going to come back and show you packaging in 1 minute. Here we are. I'm not going to wait too long on this. I only paused it for a second in between here because I just want to talk about the containers we use. Now, no matter what we use for a container, we drill holes in it, okay? We don't really use bags. We played around with bags once. Let me get out of the light. There we go. We played around with bags once for retail, but we didn't end up doing retail, so we just never had to use them. Now, we did see okay shelf life in the bag, and my assumption is there is some kind of a air exchange in there. One thing you're looking for in your containers is air exchange, as I just said. So we drill holes. See the little holes right there? They're about the size, if I were to take like a good size paper clip and jam that through there, I just use a drill. That's all I've ever used. I just haven't tried anything else because this seems to work fine. I'm sure you could probably figure out a different way to do it by melting them with a soldering iron or something like that, or maybe something smaller. I just haven't needed to try it yet, so I haven't. So I'll drill multiple holes in each side of these containers. We're talking at least 4 in each side. And then I'll also drill holes in the lids, at least 4 in the lid. Okay? See the hole there? Cool? All right. I get these at Walmart. These are just Gladware, and then these are Rubbermaid take-alongs. I use the large. Here's a box. The large is the rectangle ones, and then the extra large is the square. I put for like small orders in these little ones, obviously. I put about 8 ounces in these and 4 ounces of a what's it called? A herb, something that's more voluminous. And then big orders go in this, anything over 8 ounces up to about a pound. All right? Am I blurry? I feel like I'm blurry. Maybe it's just my eyes. All right. Now, the other thing I'm doing is I'm throwing one of these paper towels in there. This is important. These paper towels are a big deal because they're going to absorb excess moisture. All right, now, come back over. I'm going to take a big one. I'm actually going to go, I'll grab a harvest one. I'll be right back. So, we keep all the fragmented ones, all the ones that have a break or whatever, and we just use those for harvested greens, and we wash them, generally. And as we cut, we'll use these, and as we package stuff that we're not selling, we'll use these so that we can keep these freed up. Yeah. So the way I look at these containers is if I get them back 3 times, I'm now in the black, right? Because a clamshell, such as this one, I can get it dug out of the mess over here. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I got a lot of irons in the fire. This clamshell costs, this is like a medium size that I use, clamshell. All right, and apparently this was going to Candace, my old employee. See how we drilled holes in this too? All right, and we drilled holes in the sides. See if you can see them. There's one right there. See the hole? We went 2 holes in each side on these, and these were for the farmers market mostly, and we still have paper towel in there. But I'm 30-something cents on those. I'm almost $1 on these. So if I get these back from a chef 3 times, I'm in the clear. Now, obviously, also you have to factor in that you got to wash these, but to me, it's well worth the washing over drilling holes in the disposable every single time. You just let them soak, and then you get the labels off, and we just use your regular Avery mailing labels. Anyway, so that's what we'll do. We'll just get it in there, and that's 7 ounces, but whatever, it doesn't matter for the video. And then I'll put a lid on that, and I'll stick it in the fridge. So then we go into here, into our fridge. And we got a bunch of stuff in there that's been harvested, a lot of hardy stuff that's going to hold up from Friday till Tuesday when we sell it. And that's what I got. I think that's everything. So to recap, what I'm doing here is we're cutting, washing in cold water, spinning out one initial spin and then another spin, and then we are taking that to, sorry, I just saw some weird little icon over here and I don't know what the hell it is. We're taking that to the drying table over here, and then we are taking that to the packaging table, and we're packaging in containers that are drilled and have paper towels in them, and we're going right into the fridge. I would say all in all, from the second it's harvested till it's in the fridge is less than a half an hour. If you're developing a HACCP plan, that's important to the health department, people, just so you know. Anyway, sorry about the long video. I hope there's some good content feel free to skip through some sections, I guess. And this is just going to be Patreon only. It's almost like a vlog, I guess, right? Thank you very much for your support. Sorry I haven't been around in a while. There's been a lot in the air. Yeah, here I am. I'm going to get some content out for you guys this month. I'm hoping for a lot more.